Live.
Ready to go. Hit
Wake up, and stay woke. Cause this is the Ball Hawk Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, aka the Ball Hawk, aka the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go.
What is up? It's the Ball Hawk Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hawk, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Success Celebration, here for another week. And we're going to have a good time. Y'all know how it is. We get in every single week. This particular week's topic, I'll say that a few times quickly, is none other than killing with kindness. And you will understand it a little bit later. The structure of the show is about the same. The content of the show is about the same. It's going to go rough, rugged, and raw. We're going to talk sports, business, and entertainment. If you've never been here before, welcome to the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. Like we ask you every week, humbly, please like, please comment, please share, please tag a friend, please tag a foe, tag anybody that you know, because the Ball Hawk Sports Talk is in the building. So welcome, y'all. Killing with Kindness is this week's episode. And we all have some version of what that means, killing with kindness. And in the sports world, in the business world, in the entertainment world, there are different versions of it. And you have joined us today, and we're going to hop right in. The first segment is one that is sort of a legacy, one that you have seen, some faces that you have seen before. It is the Three of the Possible with two people that I'll be bringing to the stage or virtual stage. None other than the maestro, superhero DJ John Quick, and the Maverick, Miss Majestic Maya. Come on in, y'all. What's up?
Hey.
How y'all doing this morning?
What up? You good?
You know what it is. Killing with Kindness is the episode. You know, I normally don't let y'all know what the episode, I'm messing up the thing here. Normally don't know what the episode is about. We do a little bit of sharing in terms of content and what the articles. But, the episode title itself is going to lead us to some very interesting topics in sports, business, and entertainment today. So with no further ado, let's hop on in. I know everybody's got commitments. Everybody's got things that they are working on, some great projects. Proud to see everybody doing their thing, man. So y'all keep it up. And let's hop on in. So Three of the Possible. First segment. And sort of this idea of killing with kindness. First topic would be UCLA. UCLA football has decided to, in its first time ever, play HBCUs. They're going to play Alabama State in the year 2022, and they're going to play North Carolina Central in the year 2023. Both games played in the Rose Bowl. I think it's a great undertaking. I'm trying to decide how much credit I want to give UCLA. I don't know what you guys thought about the story, but it's interesting to see that UCLA football is playing two HBCUs. Maybe this is the primetime Deion Sanders effect. Maybe it's something else. What did you guys think?
God, it rings so hollow. It's just, we're going to go and be nice to the Black people and invite them to the Rose Bowl because, they've never left their respective states before. And people are going to be like, we're so great, instead of just, oh, my God. UCLA has so many historic Black icons. Jackie Robinson, you play off of that. You should build that legacy rather than you going looking like you 3 years behind from Black Lives Matter trying to help the darkies. Like, no, I don't mess with UCLA anyway. Nah, come on, Bruins. Bye. No.
You're not messing with the Bruins. Yeah, it was interesting. I do like the fact that both bands will be playing at halftime. So although they're playing in the Rose Bowl, which would make it a UCLA home game, we get to hear the mighty marching Hornets, right, in 22 from Alabama State, and we get to hear the Sound Machine Marching Band from NC Central in 23. It's gonna be some hating. There ain't gonna be no killing with kindness there. It's gonna be somebody in UCLA's tuba section straight hating. Like, yo, I can't believe they straight sidelined us. Yo. This is our home game, and they get to play in halftime. But I'm sure all the fans will appreciate it. What do you think about it? So we heard DJ John quick.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of it in football terms. The first thing I thought of, like, yo, UCLA's band is about to get embarrassed at home in the Rose Bowl by both of these bands. That's the first thing I thought about. And I thought about all the, the extra publicity these two HBCUs are going to get, because, this is it's going to be historic. So it is going to be a TV game. And again, I don't even care about the score, what happens in the game. The band, the halftime show is what it is. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah, man. Marching band. We're going to be watching. We're going to be watching.
They're going to get served. They're going to get served in their home stadium.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Beyonce came out? Because remember,
and she would. She would do something like that. I don't think they understand what they done put themselves into in terms of the pressure on their marching band.
and we saw her perform with one of those bands already, and it was quite a performance. So UCLA band, get ready to be on the bench for those two Saturdays.
Bob, those Bruins are about to be Cubs. I'm just saying.
Sticking with UCLA, they ain't done yet. It's good to see that. I'll call it the Deion primetime effect. I think it's just it's time. It's due time. Hopefully, both games will be in a primetime slot, and we'll get to see not only the bands at halftime, but see some of those great student athletes at these HBCUs. But sticking with UCLA, because they're not off the hot seat yet. At UCLA, there was also a different story that had different ramifications. They had a cross-country runner that was all up in his feelings. You know how you are. So, it's still February. It's still close enough to Valentine's Day. And last week's topic was makeups to breakups. This poor little young fella got his feelings all caught up. He was nose wide open. That's how we say in Florida, nose just wide open. and he was so upset that his now ex-girlfriend has moved on to another bae, and that boo or bae has a lot of melanin in said skin, and he used the N-word. He described the new boyfriend as the N-word, said he's never going to amount to nothing. He's going to spend his whole life in junior college. So UCLA, while they do get their credit, shout out to them for putting the HBCUs on their football schedule. It was interesting to see that this cross-country coach reinstated the runner before then kicking him off the team. And the kicking him off the team was more of a reaction to the backlash of both the team, the cross-country runners, and pop culture, because people responded. So they eventually got to the right decision, but I think it took a little too long. I don't know what you guys thought about that particular story.
I'm not surprised, because all your skin folk ain't your kinfolk. The track coach for UCLA is a black man. And you have, first of all, the little butthurt Chad in his feelings. He got a lot of nerve to be talking about somebody going to a JUCO when this UCLA is his third college. Okay. So if you gonna come for somebody, make sure your shit all the way correct.
Right.
In addition to that, you calling your mama talking about how some girl broke your heart. If you don't get your Charmin soft ass up and get it together and go get you somebody else.
Oh my God.
Are you serious? You calling your mama calling somebody a nigga. Really? Your mother should have virtually came through the phone and smacked the shit out of you. Seriously?
To her credit, we don't know if indeed it was his mother. Everyone thinks it's his mother, but to her credit, she did not support the words that he was using, which I thought was remarkable from the other side. So let's assume that it was his mother. Basically, her not condoning those words means you ain't learned that from me. And bro,
exactly.
You on UCLA's campus. Let me just go out here on a limb and say there's probably a few other females on campus, brother. It's UCLA.
Exactly.
You are in
UCLA?
Los Angeles. You know? Crazy. To me, man, I didn't think it was a big deal that he used the word, only because we have now got to this point where, Kanye's ain't a gold digger, but you were broke. You would be on college campuses, and I know that I would be looking to see if the white folks were saying the actual. I thought his treatment of the situation was a bit poor, but the backlash that he got, Klay Thompson even came out and spoke about it. I think it's just too much attention. And I know, sort of we are policing the use of the word, but at the same time, I think you give power to, again, I said this last week, you give power to things by giving it light and attention. This was a dude whose heart was broke and used the word that was on the back.
Nah, bro. Nah. Listen. He was butthurt because, he's worried about, what that Mandingo gonna do with his ex. That's what it came down. So he got his feelings and used the N-word. and the N-word, yeah, bro, I give you that. It's all about context, I guess. But to me personally, I don't use it, and I just think it's always a mistake when it's used. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. But when you use it in the context he used it, that's hate. That's straight up hate. And his mom was giving him the Heisman. That's what that was. Yeah. His mom was giving him the Heisman, like, yo, you ain't learned that over here. So he needs to get out of his feelings, and I'm glad that he's no longer on the team, even though the black coach, I just think, nah, bro, you being a little bit too lenient. I understand that, you're at a PWI, but forget that, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, there's life lessons to be learned outside the classroom.
Right. Well,
his wife, and you'll get a glimpse of why he.
Oh, okay. Got it. But regardless,
you have absolute credibility and authority to make sure that everyone does not use the word, because you don't use it.
I agree.
John, I agree. So, but the problem I have, and I'm just talking about me personally, I feel a bit hypocritical because in certain situations, I might have said something very similar, and context does matter, but we either got to say the word is taboo for everybody.
No, we don't. No, we do not. No, we do not. No. White folks should know, don't use the word. Period. That's it.
Do everything.
Pop cultures change that.
Have to cripple ourselves to appease them. We've been appeasing them on this land for 400 plus years. You can't say it or you're going to get your ass handed to you. Yeah, it's just that simple. Why is it that if they can't do it, no one could do it?
No, after that.
No, I'm not saying, and I'm saying the exact opposite. I'm not trying to appease anyone. What I'm saying is, me personally, I would feel hypocritical for making a big deal about this when someone is butthurt and you're upset that your girl left you. You say things that aren't necessarily how you feel, and you describe people in ways that aren't very fair because you're so butthurt.
Bob, no, I don't think it's a big deal. No, Bob.
Thompson weighing and we all did it. When Kanye West made that song Gold Digger, we all found ourselves just looking at our white friend to see if they were going to actually say the word, but not upset that Kanye made the song that features the word. I'm just saying that we either got to believe it or not.
Kanye ain't the first black person to use the N-word in the song.
You're making my point. You're making my point. But we ain't taking issue.
There's rules to this. You just they got one job. One job.
Just don't say that word.
You say, but free man. You say something, there are consequences to that free speech. So say like you're gonna get that can of icy, that twisted tea right up in your face. Try it.
I'll just say that I'm guilty of making the pop culture world embrace the word, because I have not been as staunch as you have been, superhero DJ John Quick. So that's the whole concept, kill him with kindness. That's what this is all about. and you saying killing with non-kindness. It sounds like you saying killing with them hands.
I'm from the Malcolm X school of thought. By any means necessary.
All right. That's why you are the Maverick.
Magneto, you Professor X.
I ain't mad at it. We're sticking with UCLA, and UCLA is sort of got different personalities. They're here, there, and they're everywhere, because this story in terms of UCLA is a great story. They have these gymnasts that's been showing out. One particular gymnast, and I gotta look at her name because I gotta be honest, I'm not into gymnastics like that, but Margazetta Frazier. She danced. Her floor routine was to control. Got a call from Janet Jackson. And the UCLA, this gymnastics team, keeps infusing music and pop culture and steamrolling their opponents in doing so. Shout out to UCLA. Shout out to Margazetta, however you say her name. And I'm starting to think at 43, y'all, that I might just go ahead and start my gymnastics career, because and my first routine is going to be to a Beyonce song or to a Rihanna song, and my phone number, because if all you got to do is do a floor routine, you get a call. You know how many people been wanting a call from Janet, Miss Jackson if you're nasty, and Margazetta, all she had to do is a floor routine. I don't know. Shout out to UCLA's gymnastics team, though, man. They doing their thing. Really love to see it. Pop culture and gymnastics. You talk about black girl magic. These sisters showing out. Love it.
Yes, I'm here for it. We just take something and just literally flip it to the next level. That's why they banned Sonia Bonley, I'm sorry, the skater from France. She's doing backflips on ice.
Exactly.
Scaring the little girls, the white girls. Oh my gosh, that's an athlete. Y'all was mad because y'all couldn't do it.
Right.
Okay?
And they're trying to do the same thing to Simone. Trying to outlaw her moves because they can't do it. Like what? What? Like how does that work?
Chicken, and maybe you'd get some flavor.
Yeah, I mean
that's not right.
Listen, Maya, it goes back to them outlawing the dunk. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy. Like, damn it, we can't do it. That's just not fair.
Black joy is the biggest. Black joy literally destroys white supremacy. The happier we are, the more it breaks down that system, because what do you do when you take someone's joy? You take everything away from them. You ain't stealing our joy, our athleticism, our academic prowess, our stunning good looks, our lack of aging. You can't take that from us.
Well, that's a word right there. I see my man Chu Jordan. Thank you for all of those viewing live. I love the comments. Keep on weighing in. But he says I should do a floor routine to Uncle Luke, because down south, baby, Uncle Luke is where it's at. I'll break that thing down. Hey, that's right, straight up. It ain't a party till you start sweating. It ain't till I came up here to New York, New Jersey area. I'm like, why everybody chilling on the wall, ice grilling, son? Like we used to dance too. We was dripping in sweat. That was an extra workout. That was cardio down in Fort Lauderdale, in Miami area. Speaking of cardio, because there is a sister that is rocking out. She is not only from a cardio standpoint, putting it to her opponents, but from a mental strength and determination standpoint, she is unwavered. That young lady, Naomi Osaka, I set my alarm, woke up in the middle of the night to watch the Australian Open, the final, and Naomi Osaka, right? I see. But superhero DJ John Quick, one of the parts of the story that I thought was intriguing is that her boyfriend didn't know she was a tennis player. Yeah. And so I saw maybe a potential opening. She probably, you might think she's too young, but y'all could be whatever, pen pals. But I saw this potential. Like, how do you not know Naomi Osaka is a tennis player? But this young lady, Naomi Osaka, was rocking out. She sort of showed her inner Mamba and wore a Kobe sweatshirt to the post-match interview after she beat Serena. Naomi Osaka is doing everything right. She's 4-0 in Grand Slam titles. She has never lost once making it to the quarterfinals. And that's what I mean by that mental resolve. Naomi, her post-match interview for the championship Australian final was brilliant. She messed up the young lady's name. She asked her, what do you prefer to be called, Jennifer or Jenny? And the young lady was like, I think she said Jenny. And then Naomi proceeded to say, okay, Jennifer. So Black Twitter was like, that's savage. Yeah, but Naomi was like, no, I was not trying to be a savage. But seriously, every word that she utters just is so gracious. You talk about killing with kindness. This is someone who's just running through the field 4-0 in Grand Slam finals. Yet her post-match interviews sound like she's campaigning for president or trying to win the Nobel Peace Prize. She literally is like talking about her opponent's mother. It's like, I'm sure your mother is proud of you. I just sat there like, my heart is warm when I hear this young lady talk. Naomi Osaka is the new thing, y'all. Yeah. What do y'all think?
Yo, she said, "Yeah, I'm sure your mother's proud of you because you had no chance against the smoke." Yo, Naomi is just dope, man. I mean, she obviously has a great team around her because she just reminds me of a young Serena in terms of doing the right things, saying the right things. You know, the way she approaches the game. She's never out of a match, never. And that just that's Serena. That is Serena. And I think it's just a beautiful thing. You know, it's funny. I read an article the other day talking about, you know, people got it all wrong. You know, Serena and Naomi are not rivals. Naomi is Serena's legacy. And that is so true. That is so true. So big up to both of those beautiful, incredibly talented, just gifted Black women. Black girl magic, man, all Straight day up. With those two, no doubt.
And just in case Serena watches this, at the end of the show, I'm going to give my entire phone number. I mean, just, you know, whatever, you know, just so you have it. You know what I'm saying?
You just wrong, bro.
The WNBA, who showed out, while the NBA got a lot of credit during this, I call it the summer uprising, post George Floyd, the WNBA really, I think, was the catalyst to get a lot of that stuff moving. And they continue to show out. The Indiana Fever, in a state of Indiana that is notorious for all things racist, the Indiana Fever has what they are deeming as social justice curriculum. There is a partnership between Anthem and Anthem and Indiana University. And it's basically an athlete to advocate program where there's curriculum where you learn how to become a social justice advocate. I think that's amazing. It's going to be at the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy at Indiana University. Shout out to Indiana Fever. Shout out to the WNBA. Talking about killing with kindness. They are, I think, the model of taking the fan experience and the fan engagement and kindly letting people know enough is enough, y'all. We got to do better. Shout out to the WNBA. Great story. Last but certainly not least in this segment. No, I cut us short. We got two more. All right. Last but certainly not least will be the next one. This one is sometimes I get ahead of myself. Russell Westbrook, having played most of his NBA career in Oklahoma, playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder, is now, because he talked about not really knowing about the Tulsa situation when they burned down Black Wall Street.
Tulsa riots.
Yep. Yeah. And so he is now.
All he had to do was watch Watchmen on HBO. That would have caught him up. That's what it was about.
You know, Russell Westbrook, talk about killing with kindness. He too busy being mean to everybody. So, but it's good to see that now he is sort of turning over a new leaf. He's got this on History Channel, but this documentary that he's doing called Tulsa Burning, the 1921 Race Massacre, because it's 100 years since that day. And for those of you who say, hey, man, stop talking about stuff that happened in the past. We all have at least read about somebody that's 100 years old. So within someone's lifetime, there was a massacre on a race that happened within someone's lifetime. And so I don't know if you guys thought anything about it, but I love seeing Russell Westbrook step out of this comfort zone of being a mean defender and dunking on folk and now providing good content for the History Channel.
I love it because there was actually a survey taken. 86% of white people had no clue about the Tulsa Massacre, Black Wall Street. Also, I think the number was like in the 70s of Black people under a certain age didn't know about the Tulsa Massacre. And my thing is this, people, it's an old cliche. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Like, this is why it's so important. People, Black History Month, who cares? But this is why it's important. It's part of American history.
Right.
It is beyond important that you know, so you don't let this shit happen again. I don't understand why knowing your history is such a bad thing. That piggybacks off of what I was talking about, control. When you steal someone's joy, you get into their heads. Once you do that, you've won the battle.
Yeah. I could not agree more. It is also baffling to see that in certain areas, people are trying to opt out of Black history. I think the opt-out is to closing your blind eye to something, and that makes you feel a little bit better. But in this Kill 'em with Kindness episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk, I'm going to kindly remind you that 100 years ago, there was an entire massacre on folk that look like me. So shout out to Russell Westbrook. Get it, dog. And although he is the king of triple doubles, love to see him doing this in a way that providing good information, substantive content to the History Channel. Get him, get him, get him. The new king of the triple double brings us to this week's drum roll, please. LaMelo Ball weekly update.
I'm gonna pull up some old Post-its.
Hey, the man is balling, y'all. I think he is running away with the Rookie of the Year trophy. He's better than everyone thought. That is a direct quote from the Hornets broadcaster, who happens to be none other than Dale Curry. That's right, Steph Curry and Seth Curry's dad. That's right, Ayesha Curry's father-in-law. You got to mention her now anytime you mention Curry. Ayesha Curry's father-in-law. She earned it. She earned it. He is now said LaMelo Ball is outperforming all expectations. Stats don't lie, y'all. He balled out again on Wednesday against Phoenix. They had won 9 out of the 10 last games. Come on, y'all. LaMelo Ball. On the count of 3, let's say it. LaMelo. Y'all not? No, y'all not feeling it as much as I am.
I agree. I'm not chanting him, but I agree. He's definitely, outballed all expectations. And I'm just, to be honest, I'm just happy for Michael because Michael's been whiffed on a lot of number ones. We can talk Frank the Tank, Kwame Brown, like the list goes on and on.
He has. He has definitely done that. He is whiffed. So it's good to see LaMelo. Look, I have a little fun with LaMelo because LeVar Ball made everybody. He's public enemy number 1. He made everybody hate LaMelo before LaMelo even had a chance to be hated himself. So I'm having fun with it. It's interesting to see this young man ball out. MJ, you finally got it right. And as they say, a broken clock is right twice a day. So I don't know if it was luck or you really picked it, but we shall see. All right, y'all. That is the 3 and a possible. We are going to transition quickly, I think, because I know my man, superhero DJ John Quick's got another engagement today. He won't be joining us for traffic court, but we will give you the reports on what the rulings were. Thank you for all your contributions, my good brother.
Everybody.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. We will welcome in for the traffic court none other than Big Flo from the Big Flo Show. Come on in, Big Flo.
What's good, up? America? What's good? Let me get my camera right.
You got it, man. You got it. You get your camera right. I love the what's good, America. Tell everybody. I don't care what city they're in. And as we ask you guys every week, I say it again. Please, we ask you humbly. Please like, please comment, please share. This is the Kill 'em with Kindness episode. It won't cost you nothing. Kill us with a little bit of kindness. Comment, like, share. If you're in the podcast universe, please subscribe. YouTube universe, please subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a foe, tell everybody you know. Ball Hog Sports Talk is in the building. Traffic court, y'all. Y'all know the rules. We have, I'm the judge. B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. about the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration. We have the jury, who is down to one person now. Big Flo from the Big Flo Show is the jury. And we have the executioner, Miss Majestic Maya. And y'all ready? Y'all know the rules.
Let's
give it a topic. We figure out whether it's reasonable or excessive. First topic. The New York Knicks, in that place that they play in, Madison Square Garden, has decided that Bobby Shmurda is the king of New York. Welcome home, Bobby Shmurda, billboard. As big as possible on the front of Madison Square Garden. For all my Miami Heat fans, you'll know that I put a very choice finger up every time I take this train into Penn Station and I have to walk by Madison Square Garden. I put one finger up in the air. You know what finger it is because I can't stand the Knicks. But now I'm wondering whether or not I should be putting up the finger to this decision. The New York Knicks putting this big old sign up. What do you think? I'll start with you, Miss Majestic Maya, before moving on to Big Flo.
Okay, I'm about to go off. I don't understand why. First of all, the Knicks are just trash in general. And this just goes to show why they are trash. First of all, they're the most valuable NBA team, actually, one of the most valuable sports teams. I don't even know how that's humanly possible. I don't know what dipshit gets up and actually buys tickets to watch this dumpster show. This guy, Bobby Shmurda, okay, literally is a convicted, he confessed to murder, all of these felonies, and this is who you're applauding? Are you serious? This is what you applaud. This is why Jim Dolan and the New York Knicks will never win anything ever. They are a trash organization. Instead of you applauding a fucking detriment to society, how about you highlight Black people that are actually doing something, making changes in the world, not contributing to a tired tagline that they're always in jail, they're always doing something wrong. You know what people who don't know who Bobby Shmurda is, when they Google him and see all the fuck shit he's done, they're going to be like, this is who they're applauding? Seriously? Seriously. New York Knicks, Jim Dolan, all of you ass backwards clowns, do the world a favor. If you're going to have a billboard that big, why don't you highlight the discrepancies in Black versus white pay? How about you highlight the discrepancies in wealth and generational gaps between Black families and white families? Highlight Black History Month. He is not Black history. He's an insult. He's disgusting. I don't give a shit how many hot songs he has. Really, Knicks? I hope that you keep the finger of you ain't no good gonna come to you to right by Black people. I hope that curse stays on you, because this is some fuck shit from a fuck organization. And I'm done.
Big Flo from the Big Flo Show.
Hard to follow that up, but I agree. I mean, it's embarrassing. Like, are you really you think that's a hero? You think that that's what we're gonna say as Black people? We're gonna be like, they're down for us. They put Bobby Shmurda, they're welcoming home. What are you doing, man? You don't have anybody in your organization. All these crazy things that happen. I always just wonder how many people had to say yes to it before it actually happened. And how many people had to sit there and say, yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let's put this billboard up. Did the billboard company not say, are you sure you want to put this up? Nobody along the way had a question to say, do you know what he did? I mean, it's not like this dude got home because he was wrongly convicted and they welcomed home somebody who's on the Innocence Project. I say that. Okay, that'd be fantastic. He served his time. I can't believe he's already out, but he served his time and you welcome him home. I don't know. They're just trying to find some way to get popular. They're trying to attract themselves to somebody who I don't know. They ain't buying tickets anyway. I don't know, man. Whoever the hell likes this shit.
In the case of Bobby Shmurda, huge billboard dawned in front of Madison Square Garden. Is it reasonable or excessive in terms of a decision? I absolutely agree with both of you. And I was not on the fence, but you have helped me be even less so on the fence. This is absolutely excessive. I think that this is a case of when keeping it real goes wrong, because the streets responded to Bobby Shmurda when they compared his decision not to snitch to Tekashi 6ix9ine, because the streets responded well to Bobby Shmurda. Welcome home, Bobby Shmurda. And one of the Migos picks him up in a private jet, and they got money. And just understand that all Black folk ain't subscribing to that lifestyle. And I'll just leave it there. So I'm going to call it excessive. All right, next case on the docket is my man. And I say my man because he's the gift that keeps giving. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie wants Kobe to be the NBA logo. And he even tweeted a picture. He resurfaced a picture that came up last year, right after, on the heels of the tragic death of Kobe Bryant and the rest of the victims in that helicopter crash. He resurfaced that picture and tweeted it. I'll start with you, Big Flo from the Big Flo Show. Reasonable or excessive to think that Kobe Bryant should be the new logo?
I'm going to say it's excessive, only because, I don't know, if you're going to put the new logo out there and, like, RIP Kobe Bryant, and, it's unfortunate all, but really, if we're going to switch the logo, it should be Jordan, right? I mean, I understand that, he passed away and it's sad, but like, do you do that knee-jerk reaction and just go to Kobe and if you're gonna switch the logo, which I think maybe at this point either you keep it forever, but I think if there is a new refreshed person, you kind of got to go Jordan, man. So I think it's excessive. I don't hate on him for saying it, though. I'm not saying it's a bad sentiment. You know what I mean? Obviously, you get caught up in the moment. The man did die tragically and all that stuff. But I'm going to still say that you can't switch and just not do Jordan.
Ms. Majestic Maya.
I'm just going to say what Kyrie Irving said, like in regards to the NBA, Black Kings built this. Okay, you're absolutely right. And I do think that Jerry West should not be the NBA logo, like some random white guy who actually has a losing percentage in NBA finals. I mean, I totally get it. Wink, wink. But I don't like the messenger, Mr. Kyrie Irving, who famously held a yacht party with only white women. Now you talking about Black Kings, and this is really, I can't roll with you like that. And you got a baby with a white woman. Like, dude, I cannot take you seriously. James Baldwin said it best. I can't believe what you say because I see the shit that you do. If it would have come from someone who's actually contributed more to the NBA, who isn't such an emo, batshit crazy person, I would take it seriously. I can't roll with Kyrie Irving. Like, shout out to people with mental health illnesses, and I'm not even, that's not for real, because people like, how you gonna talk about somebody? It's not even that. It's just, it's coming from the wrong source. I'm sorry. I can't, like I said, look up James Baldwin and see the quote. I can't roll with Kyrie Irving. And no, Kobe Bryant should not be the logo. His death was tragic. I cried like he was a cousin. But if you're going to give it to someone, it should not be Kobe.
In the case of Kyrie Irving making the statement that Black Kings built the NBA and that Kobe Bryant should now be the logo, is it reasonable or excessive? You guys both make good points, but I got to go reasonable. And I'll tell you why. Because if you think back, 1969 is when Alan Siegel designed this logo. And for inspiration, what did Alan Siegel, the artist, a white man, what did he turn to for inspiration? He turned to a picture of Jerry West, a white man. And I ain't even gonna go into all the white Jesuses we see in churches, but because that's just, it is what it is. So I think he both has a point that Black Kings built the league. And if you're going to turn to anybody, and I've heard very compelling arguments throughout the week that it should be the Jumpman logo. And Scott Bibb says that it might be protected. But even if you get over the protection, I think that Michael Jordan has the luxury of always being called the GREAT. I think, Kobe's tragic death being so sudden and how the country was forced to realize that life is precious. I see it. So I'm going to say at least reasonable, at least to be discussed, not too excessive. But I still think MJ is the GOAT. So I see where people would make that argument too. All right, next topic. Notre Dame ain't playing no games, y'all. Notre Dame has decided to be in solidarity with the amateur athletes, and they will not opt in to the EA Sports reboot of college football until further notice. I'll start with you, Maya. Reasonable or excessive? Was that the right decision?
It's reasonable, but I need people to stop being hypocrites. I mean, if you going to stand in solidarity with these amateur athletes, as you should, I need you to be consistent across the board. Don't pick and choose when I'm going to stand up for this. I'm going to back away from this. This isn't my issue. I need consistency, because if I don't know where you're coming from, it's just like, what is the old saying? I could trust a thief over a liar, because with a thief, you know to put away your valuables. With a liar, you don't know what the hell you're going to get. So stop lying, be consistent, and maybe we'll take you seriously.
Big Flo, as both, we both played for the Irish, and it sounds like they saying cut them a check. And if anybody looking for candidates for back pay, again, my phone number, my phone. What do you think about it, man? Reasonable.
I love it. I think it's taking the lead. I think Notre Dame taking the lead in that and making a stance. I think there's a lot of people out there trying to fight the NIL, the name, image, and likeness. And I think to come ahead of this and say that we're standing with it is a great gesture. Who knows whatever happens in the past and whatever they've done, but you can't judge people you got to give people a chance to do the right thing. So I think they're doing the right thing. It's awesome. No, they can't come from a better place than Notre Dame. They're not in a conference, but they're making this big statement. So I think it's great.
And you, as the father of a highly recruited football player, this name, image, and likeness thing, loved at some point, we're going to talk about it because it seems as though your son could get paid, man, unlike you and I back in the day. In the case of Notre Dame making this decision, I agree with both of you. I think it's very reasonable that they have made the decision. Maybe they're getting too much credit. Maybe they were opportunistic in doing it. And Maya, you've got a point there, but I think it's very reasonable. All I have to say about it is, all you recruits out there, you 5-star recruits, if you don't want to go to a school that's all up in the video games, dancing, and not paying their players, come over to MD. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I like that they made that decision.
Okay, wait, Bobby. Before we go to the next topic, I definitely agree with these young men being paid. I've said that since the very beginning. Right. But you also have to remember, Notre Dame could have stepped up to the forefront in regards to not playing college football this season when we had a pandemic where people were dying, but they put dollars before anything, before these kids' lives, and now all of a sudden, y'all got to pay them. Be consistent with your shit, and people will not look at you like a bunch of hypocrites.
Fair, very fair. And I'll go one further because, when we were that age, we were silly enough to we probably, as football players, we love Bill Walsh just because I could play with Notre Dame. I would just throw it to 88 the whole time. So the players probably mad that they opted out. Like, wait a minute,
I thought about that too. Some of them were probably like, we coming back. I get it.
I can't play myself.
I'll take this one. The first one we'll go for free. The next time we'll pay me on the next rendition.
Right. Just let us get in the game. All right, next topic is all about the numbers game. Anybody that's followed me long enough, followed the Ball Hog Sports Talk long enough, you know that I love that hashtag numbers game. And it boils down to simply that, when I was cut, when a lot of people cut from the NFL, that's what the coach tell you. Oh, well, it's a numbers game, man. We can only hold so many. So I've now made that into a hashtag. But this hashtag is taking a whole new meaning because Michael Pittman Jr., who wears number 11 for the Indianapolis Colts, has decided that Carson Wentz, who wore number 11 in college, who wore number 11 in the good and bad years in Philadelphia, he's decided that Carson Wentz will not be wearing number 11 for the Indianapolis Colts next year. I thought that was quite the move. As a wide receiver, I'd have done anything to make my doggone quarterback happy, short of giving my girlfriend, and even then, just feeling how good she was to me. I'm like, man, you can have her. But I mean, that's what you do for a quarterback. You do anything for a quarterback as a wide receiver, but not Michael Pittman Jr. Who did I start with last time? I'm gonna start with you, Big Flo. What did you think on this numbers game?
I read that too, and I was like, man, maybe he's not sold on him. Maybe he don't think Carson Wentz is the guy. Maybe he thinks he's not going to win out the starting job or something. That's tough. The numbers mean a lot to certain people, and if he's been 11 his whole life, I was reading through the articles. They never got to the reason why Pittman is 11, but maybe it has some like family meaning or something. He just didn't care. But boy, the quarterback, he can throw you the ball, make or break you. You don't want to make him a little happy coming in. Maybe got a little change or something. Maybe like both of ours. Maybe you could be 11 at home and I'll be 11 away. But just to say no, you must hope he doesn't get the starting job. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Mr. Majestic Meyer, reasonable or excessive that he was like, 11 mine, dog. Going with that. Go get 12 or something.
I would say reasonable, and I'm thinking about the movie The Fan, who stars my favorite actor of all time, Robert De Niro. If you guys, let me give you a CNN version. Wesley Snipes was Bobby Rayburn, and he came back home to the San Francisco Giants, and Primo, who was played by Benicio del Toro, had the number 11. And Wesley Snipes was trying to do anything to get that. He's like, man, I'll pay you. And then, Benicio was like, I'm Primo. I don't give up my number. And so Robert De Niro went and killed Primo so Bobby Rayburn could get his number back. Okay. And he got out of his slump, but he was crazy. So all that to say, give up that number or you're going to have some crazy ass fan cutting off your number 11 brand so Carson Wentz can win. So
you sounds like you're saying excessive, that decision. Well, in the case of Michael Pittman Jr. playing the numbers game, like this is my number, I'm gonna side with you, Maya. I think that's excessive. If I'm a wide receiver, I got to give up that number because look, Michael Pittman had 40 catches, 503 yards, and 1 touchdown last year. Those numbers ain't big numbers. And all NFL players have incentives in their contract. And you could have got at least an extra 15 catches just on the decision to give up the number 11. Matter of fact, you could have made it conditioned upon at least 11 catches for the first 2 games.
Real talk. That's
right.
Real talk.
So, like, you want number 11? I need 11 catches in the first 2 games. That's 22 catches, dog. So I think this is a bit excessive. AJ Brown, my cousin, who's really not my cousin, the wide receiver from the Tennessee Titans, the man-child, made fun of it. It was like, man, he must don't understand who got all the control because he won't get the ball. And I got to agree with him. I think that's excessive. You won the numbers game, but man, that might be excessive. I think you should have gave up that number. All right.
But aren't athletes mainly like creatures of habit? Like if you're on the win streakers, I know baseball players are incredibly superstitious, and when they go into slumps, they'll do whatever it takes to get out of that slump. And once they're out of it, they stick to that
whatever their regimen is.
Routine,
So routine, thank you. So I'm like Carson Wentz, he's made of glass. Didn't I call him glass a few weeks ago? A strong gusty one will break his neck.
Yeah, well, that I think
that's what I'm saying. Maybe he doesn't really think.
Man, Michael Pittman might be.
Michael Pittman betting against him.
That might be the jury is out, right? So Michael Pittman's like, in the case of Carson Wentz, you ain't getting his number because you ain't the one. All right, let's go right to the Tiger Woods story. Unfortunate, he was in a 1-car crash out in LA. He was on his way to go play some golf, ironically. And it seems as though there are some serious leg injuries, like a broken ankle. He's got like a rod in his leg. Simple and plain. In the case of Tiger Woods, is it reasonable or excessive to think that he will ever play top golf again? I'll start with you, Mike.
Tiger ain't playing nothing. And I'm sorry, I'm distracted because I'm thinking about the Family Guy episode with the Asian drivers. Tiger should never be behind the wheel ever again. He can't. Tiger, don't do it. And could you imagine that you, God forbid, almost died going to play golf with Drew Brees? Seriously? If I'm gonna go out, I'm not gonna go out rushing to play him. Are you? I mean, I don't roll with Tiger too tough, Mr. Cobbling Asian, but
yeah. So you're saying excessive, never going to get back to the top golf form. What do you say, Big Flo from the Big Flo Show?
You know, he was in that car for a while. They had to cut him out with the compound fracture. You think about the potential for like nerve damage and having I mean, it's one thing when you get hurt on the field, right? You get broke, somebody come out there right away, they're setting it, they're pulling it, and they're getting you back right. He's sitting in that car. He had to be cut out. I'm sure it didn't come out real nice. That's going to be one of those injuries where he might have a little bit of a limp for a while. So I don't know. I think he's going to find a way to actually get in a tournament again, but it'll be mostly just symbolic. You know what I mean? It'll be one of those things just to say he walked out there. But, even with the back surgery and everything there, he
could barely
questionable.
walk.
Yeah, he was questionable anyway. So he'll get out there. You know what? He's just going to get out there for the story, just to say I got back out there, but he's not going to be doing that. Maybe it'll be the seniors tour.
In the case of Tiger Woods returning to top golf, is it reasonable or excessive? Unfortunately, you guys made some very persuasive arguments, but I got to disagree with you, man. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Tiger. It's reasonable. He's going to get back to top golf. And this is one of those times where picking the right sport pays off. Now, if we were talking about basketball, you ain't going to never be a top basketball player again. Football, wide receiver, bro, you never going to be another top wide receiver after those injuries. But this particular sport allows you to be out there with a mechanical back and still compete. I think he'll be just fine. It's going to take him a little longer to walk down the gallery on the final run of the 18th hole to win the jacket again, but it's reasonable. Tiger, make a truth sayer out of me, man. Come on back and do your thing.
I'm not even rolling with that. Do you know how difficult it is to walk with a rod? Like, seriously, I don't give a shit how great the titanium is. Okay, now golf is a recreation. It's not a sport. But for him to actually walk, did you know the extent of his damage? What they did was with the jaws of life, they pulled him through the windshield. Right. It wasn't through a door. They pulled him through the windshield. That's why that was missing. And his ankle is gone. When his bone, one of the doctors on CNN said the bone was it was actually going through the skin. It had broke skin. It wasn't like it was a little nick. He jacked up. Homeboy is not going to come back. Like I said, I never cheer for him anyway after his little Cobbler Nation statement. I'm glad he's not dead. That would have been tragic. Right. But you got kids, homie. You got teenagers. You need to be concerned about being around them and making sure they have the best life. Like, why you stop? You already go on.
All right. Well, we shall see. Another of the greats, and I think they at one point played golf together, but I know he plays golf all the time. My man, Steph Curry. So it has been reported by one of his teammates, Andrew Bogut, one of the former teammates. And it's always the former teammates that's snitching. But Andrew Bogut says that during halftime, Steph used to send texts to Ayesha Curry, and it would inevitably lead him to checking mentions on Twitter, probably because Ayesha Curry would let him know what was going on. During halftime, is that reasonable or excessive? Should he be on his phone during halftime? I'll start with you, Maya.
Oh my God, boy, focus on that game and stop talking. That's why. Okay, this is another reason why I be trying to pump my fist for Ayesha. But girl, this is exactly why people come for you, because that man is out there making a whole lot of money. You need him to be completely focused. Take a page from Vanessa Bryant. She wasn't texting Kobe when he was out there playing.
She wasn't shooting in the gym.
Out there letting him do exactly. He was out there. He let that man do what he needed to do. Excessive.
You're going excessive. What about you, Big Flo?
I want to say this. It explains a lot, right? You start thinking about how Aisha's behavior is and how the thing is. Explains a lot that his man is at halftime. He got to text and check in with the wife or whatever. But you know what? Times are changing. They do interviews in between quarters. You know, but in our day, you talk to the coach before the game in the studio, and then you talk to him after the game. But now they get you in between quarters. The basketball game's going on, and they're doing the interviews and everything. It's a social media world. The whole Twitter thing, I think it's a distraction. I'm not going to go so far as to say it's reasonable, but it's almost expected. You know what I mean? It's just the same that people are getting into social media during halftime of the game. It's not surprising. So I don't know. In today's day, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just going to limit and say it's just reasonable for today's world, not for our generation, but for today's world.
For today's world. And look, and I love Tanya, who's one of our loyal listeners. Said men love good cooking because Aisha is notable for her cooking, but I don't think that's all she cooking. That's the same thing in that first story with the UCLA runner cross country. That ex-girlfriend was cooking up something special. I don't want no parts of that. That's gonna make me tweet or text at halftime. I don't want no parts of that. And I want my focus. So in the case of reasonable or excessive, I gotta call that excessive. Come on, man. Focus on the game, dog. It's the game. Certain principles, sports principles, have to remain true. And I need you focused on what's going on.
The Twitter universe has to hear what he's got to say at halftime.
It never stops with how the game going. They sexting each other during the game, during halftime. Too much.
But no, you know who I blame for that? ESPN, because they want to be so we're right there in the game. Get out of these people's faces. And then they wonder why these athletes lash out at them for asking stupid questions. These people are you're breaking their train of thought. Like, I don't care what Russell Westbrook thought when he was taking that shot, and like, yo, let that man play that game. Right. Doris, we don't need to hear from you. And all these other sideline reports, it's just too much.
Yeah. And these last two are just mentions before we go on to the next segment. The Big Ten, the Michigan versus Northwestern game will now play for a trophy that's called the George Jewett Trophy, who is the first Black player in Big Ten history who competed for both teams. He competed for both teams in the 1890s. That's worth to mention because I think he might have started the transfer portal. Played for both teams. He's the first grad transfer. But it's interesting to see that now everyone again is on this opportunistic. We're going to do things right. We're going to make amends for all the things that we've done wrong over the last several decades. Very interesting. So we'll see the Michigan Northwestern game. Last mention is the Olympics in Japan. They're asking fans to line up, like always, for the torch relay as they start the Olympics, but asking them not to yell, don't scream, just to cheer with their hands, because they don't want somebody hot breath out there passing on COVID. And the title sponsors, Toyota and Coca-Cola, I think, are behind this asinine decision. If you got to do all that, you probably shouldn't do the torch relay. But how do you police it?
Just listen.
Worth the mention here in traffic court. I appreciate you, Miss Majestic Maya. I appreciate you, Big Flo from the Big Flo Show. Big Flo, I'll see you back on the third quarter for Sports Freestyle. We're going to hop into halftime, which is going to be Center Court. Today's Center Court is brought to you by Excessive Celebration. We're much more than a party. We're an experience on top of your event. Center Court is where we take this week's episode title and we dive in a little deeper as to its meaning. Today's title is Kill 'em with Kindness. Today's Center Court goes a little like this. Kill 'em with kindness. In Lauderdale, that's where I'm from, I used to always hear this saying that went like this. You can catch more bees with honey than with vinegar. What an interesting and true statement that has both everything and nothing to do with bees. Kill 'em with kindness is the gist of that saying. The infamous, very, very infamous Cam Newton gone viral video this week with an overzealous teenager has been the most notorious example in sports of kill 'em with kindness over the last several days. But it triggered me to think about the concept a lot more broadly. For example, the best guards in basketball don't have to dribble all the time because sharing the ball makes everyone better. I like those kill 'em with kindness, spread the love type players. And that's why I've always at least admired, even though sometimes I hate on them, I've admired LeBron's prowess to always make the right basketball play. In terms of killing them with kindness, the same thing is true in other fields. For example, like law. The best litigators don't monopolize everybody's airspace with their own oratorical skills. Instead, they spend most of their time listening to others. Those litigators win by giving others the floor and eventually kill them with that same kindness by using their words, their own words, to hammer home the litigator's desired goal. Even in politics, our favorite First Lady, Mrs. Michelle Obama, made headlines by saying, when they go low, we go high. However, the truth of the matter is, there needs to be some balance with the kindness. I think we kill them with kindness in a bad way when we are too nice, when there is not any balance. The whole everybody gets a trophy generation has resulted in some kids feeling entitled, spoiled. Maybe, just maybe, we've been too kind. I also see it in AAU basketball. Kids that come over from the YMCA leagues or the town leagues where everyone gets playing time by rule, no matter their playing skills. Well, those kids and their parents, they're in culture shock when they get the rude awakening when little Johnny spends the entire game on the bench. The same is true in corporate America. Being a 6'3", 200-pound man is a good thing when playing wide receiver. However, it can be a bit intimidating on the trading floor of a financial institution or in the conference room of a corporate law firm when all the lawyers are gathered. So I often found myself smiling more so others felt more at ease. As a society, we've been so kind and patient as we await true diversity in corporate boardrooms and in C-suite offices that we're still waiting. The moral of the story is this. Yes, we should kill them with kindness, but make sure we strike a healthy balance, because kindness can come back to bite you right in the you know what if you ain't careful. And as I tell my sons all the time, a man, and by that I mean man and women, mankind, a man is treated the way he or she allows him or herself to be treated. And that's a word. All right, y'all. Really appreciate y'all indulging us for the center court. Kill 'em with kindness is the episode title. I refer to a particular video, and that's going to be how we transition into the next segment, which is going to be the sports freestyle. We bring it back, my man Big Flo, for the third quarter. Come on, Big Flo.
Y'all still good, America? Y'all still good? You miss me? I'm back.
Be back, baby. I'm back. Big Flo from the Big Flo Show. We gave him a real hot 16 last night. For those of y'all who haven't been following the hot 16, where we go in, we give them bars. You got to check us out. Check us out. You know? So, but we're going to go in again. We're going to give them more bars with this sports freestyle in the third quarter. We got to start off, man, with the story that was at the center of the center court. And that's Cam Newton. This video that's gone viral. You know, you've seen it. The incident where there is a camper at his camp, the 7-on-7 camp, and they going back and forth. They're going back and forth. You know, I don't know what you think about the story. Let's just get right into it.
I mean, we talked about in the previous segment about, you know, Steph Curry and the Twitter world and everything going out, and it's kind of expected. And unfortunately, we're going a bad direction when it comes to the disrespect now. I mean, if you watch the 7-on-7, it's the most disrespectful sport that I've ever seen in any level. It's disgusting. I mean, people, DBs go, there's no sportsmanship. You go up, you clown people run off the sideline. If you get a ball caught over your head and they put their hands over your head, it's just super disrespectful. So I think that this is just a byproduct of what happened there. Now, to kind of give light to a little bit to the gentleman that got involved talking, is Cam has been around and he kind of jaws with the kids a little bit. So it's not, you know, sometimes you got to, as adults, we have to look at it and say, you know, if I'm not going to come to your house and start playing with your kid like I'm a kid and then expect him to treat me like an adult. You know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of do that line. So Cam got a little bit to do with that. But just the fact that the people felt like the kid had the nerve to say some of the things he was saying to Cam, and he's clowning like that. Like, you should be so honored that Cam Newton is out here at this little bogus 7-on-7 tournament, being back with the kids, which I've seen him at 7-on-7 tournaments too. So he's giving back. And you want to try to be disrespectful. What happened last year with a club that a local club my son used to play for? They did it to Cam, and that was the viral video.
That's Boom, right?
Yeah. But that's just par for the course, man. 7-on-7 is the most disrespectful sport ever in the history.
But even the team Boom, I mean, you got adults having them leading this chant, having these kids saying, "Boom, bitch."
Boom in this beat. Yeah, they love it. And the parents will chat it too. They like, you know, if you fight, it's good to fight. Like, it's the most disrespectful sport I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I think 7-on-7, man, honestly, it is distracting players from the reality that when we got pads on and you catch that pass, I'm going to try to knock you in the next week. And if you were to do that to me, and I've seen a lot of the videos because they go viral, and we've now encouraged kids to take measures into their own hand, and that's probably what this kid was doing. I know this can go viral, but yeah, they'll catch a pass, they'll point the wide receivers, they'll point at the DB for 10 yards before they get in the end zone. Tyreek Hill's doing a backflip into the end zone. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he got that from the 7-on-7 community, because that's par for the course there. And it's gone too far. I think that those in the sports media universe that has used Cam's accolades, you know, he won a Heisman, and he was a first pick in the NFL, and NFL MVP, and took his team to the Super Bowl. Let me just pause for a second. I don't care if he was the 53rd person on any roster. I don't care if he was not good enough to play on a varsity high school football team. That's a grown man. So we got to start teaching kids, respect that grown man that's giving of his time. Not because he won a Heisman, because that's a grown man, period. And until we start doing this, we're going to have kids that think it's okay. He should have got a spanking. Cam Newton definitely killed him with kindness because he took a very different road than I would have taken. And if you don't want your kids to be in a headlock, keep them around Coach. Keep them from around Coach Bobby because I believe in headlocks. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you, little man. When you begging for your air supply, that bravado changes a little bit. Everybody changes they tune when they get, I can't breathe. The show made sure he couldn't breathe.
Even his apology, that kid's apology was whack. You know, I hate when people write down, if you took it that way, if you took it as disrespect. Nah, it was disrespectful, dude. Wait, what about what we took? That's disrespectful.
Objectively disrespectful.
Yeah, don't sit there in your apology say, well, certain people took that as disrespect, but it wasn't. Yes, it was. It's not an apology. I click. I'm off. You're done. Your parents raised you wrong.
The kid's apology was also right with typos. Like it showed just, look, man, like nobody forced you to hit send.
That's that voice to text.
Right. You could have looked it over a few times because now you got the spotlight. Like you probably should have had somebody read it over. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. Prime time, Deion Sanders. It brings a lot of positive attention to the HBCUs and deciding to coach Jackson State University. This particular attention was not very good because after beating Edward Waters 53-0, a blowout. The first thing that he says when he comes to the mic has nothing to do with the blowout, has nothing to do with athletes going to HBCUs and how you can get exposure here, and everything to do with somebody stole my wallet and personal belongings. And so I think Deion takes that W and then turns it into at least a lost wallet from an informational standpoint, but maybe a loss for that opportunity as well. What do you think about it?
I don't know. I think Deion needs to understand, like, the PR is bad. First of all, does he not have insurance? First, someone got him for his radio or whatever. They got it in his car when he first went down there. Now they got him again. First of all, either lock your belongings. You need to figure out how to lock stuff up better. But I just think that here he is starting a movement, trying to do this HBCU thing. I thought that he ended the game a little tacky. I'm a big score guy, but like, it was 53-0, and he was trying to hurry up and score at the end and really embarrass the opponents to do whatever. I don't really know what that was all about. But I think, if you're trying to make this into a movement where you're trying to get other people to come and do this and come to schools, stop like airing little stuff. You know what I mean? Don't air these little thieving stuff. Get on there and talk about the game and how great it was that you guys are on TV and happy, whatever. Man, your little wallet, man, got stolen, man. Come on, man. I don't know. That's how
you got more bread than that, Deion. That was your chance to really hone in on what Jackson State, I believe, is all about. I think he should have left that to another opportunity, another venue, and it does go to. And Miss Majestic Maya mentioned this. I think to the reality that when you put a mic in front of somebody's face and you haven't really had the chance to diffuse a situation, you're gonna say stupid things. So. Deion, while I love your movement, I love what you're doing, I'm going to go ahead and say that was pretty dumb, man. Don't use that moment to make everybody more afraid to go to Jackson State because this is a second iteration. I'm thinking, nah, man, I'm good, man.
Let's steal your stuff over there. Let's steal from the coach.
Yeah, the people that are excited about Jackson State now are law enforcement people looking for jobs because obviously they need more security. Security! All right, next story. Doc Rivers, man, in support of Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris because neither one made it to the All-Star game, and he felt as though they should. He took a nice little shot, man. I know killing with kindness was how he started down that path. He was killing them with kindness and talking about his players, but then to go on and say anyone can get numbers on a bad team because somebody's got to take a shot. He kind of threw jabs at a few people that made an All-Star team. What did you think about Doc Rivers?
I'm putting him in the same categories I put J.J. Watt, same category as Kanye and the Mad Rapper. I mean, it's one thing. LeBron got out there and did it the right way. He said, what player? He said, I can't believe he was left off of a roster. Booker. He's disrespected and he's left off of a roster. You said it all right there. I think this guy deserves to be here. But don't go after Bradley Beal and say, well, you could do that. Don't start picking on the people on the roster who he's supposed to come off. There's no need for that, right? Don't disrespect their accomplishments and say something because your dude didn't get it. Just say, I can't believe my guys didn't get on. I think that they are definitely all-stars. We'll leave it at that. But, just that whole attacking people, I just think is stupid, man. He gets a J.J. Watt Donkey of the Day award I get for that.
Donkey of the
I hate to
day
borrow
for
that.
you. So you real serious with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Doc, you got to know better, Doc. But he sure did. That was a nice jab, though. I mean, people just start looking like, oh, well, who is he talking about? And
you know who he's talking about.
there is, but he's talking about a few more people too, because the records don't lie, and somebody got to take the shots. Another NBA story, but a very different path. Love and hate and basketball coming together. We know Love and Basketball, the movie, as I recommended. Hopefully Maya saw it. But I recommend it as the best ever combination of romance and sports. But there's a broader love and hate and basketball going on right now, because it just seems as though there's a lot of jabs being thrown. Kyrie makes a joke about LeBron's free throw accuracy. It's been rumored that indeed the feud continues, and there's some other feuds there. You saw CJ McCollum tweeted a picture. He called it LeBron logo LeBron, and he tweeted the video of LeBron shooting the air ball, and it was an air ball. That thing wasn't even close. And he called it logo LeBron. And when asked about it, he said their friendship is good enough for him to make that joke. We've seen a lot of jabs lately, man. I don't know if you've paid attention to them, but there's been some love and hate and basketball going on. Any thoughts on some of the stuff that we've seen?
I mean, if your name is not Michael Jordan or rhymes with Michael Jordan, I don't really know what you could say to LeBron to clown him too much. But if there's some dudes out there and you're making jabs and that's just what y'all do, that's between y'all. I think Kyrie Irving, I don't know. If they really do have a feud, I think relax, man. Just
let it
grow
go.
up. You know what I mean? Grow up and get over it, man. Do whatever you got to do.
Well, but to your point about LeBron, Brandon Ingram, playing for the Pelicans now, claims that Zion is the first teammate he has played with that he believes is as good as himself. Brandon Ingram came from the Lakers and played with LeBron. LeBron seems to be in the target zone of everybody throwing these shots. What did you think about Brandon Ingram saying that?
I think he just forgot. You know, sometimes you say something just so stupid, you just forgot. Oh, man, I forgot I played with LeBron. He doesn't think that.
Or maybe LeBron wasn't a teammate. He saw LeBron as a coach.
Yeah, he saw as a dad. That was my daddy. I played with my dad.
He's a team
he doesn't think that. He doesn't believe that. And he wasn't thinking when he said it. And he apologized when he went to sleep. When he went to sleep, he was like, I'm so sorry, LeBron. Don't do this to me.
If he even dream about saying some stuff like that, he better wake up and apologize. And for a lot of it, we should say, if you really believe that, your breath stank and you lying. There's no way you believe that Zion is the first player, and then to base it on him that is just as good as me. I love
Zion's better than LeBron now. I mean, what are we saying here now?
I don't know what he's saying. I don't know. And why connect it to you? Like you're not the benchmark, Brandon Ingram. Let's go there.
He was play pimping. That's what he was play pimping.
I do like that Russell Westbrook. Not only is he now got this documentary on the History Channel, but Russell Westbrook has showed massive respect for Damian Lillard. We know that they've been beefing for a while. Is this a new leaf for Russell Westbrook? Is he going to kill him with kindness now? He said good things about Damian Lillard.
You know, I thought people, you don't have to like each other to respect the game. Like, I was never a big Kobe fan, but he was a great basketball player. Not that I'm trying to compare myself and my thoughts to the way these dudes thinking, but Russell Westbrook, you could just like to do the same thing. He's a great player. I want to dunk on his face and I want to do whatever, but he's still a great player. I don't know. Right. I mean, we're going so non-classy with this country, the way things are going, man. I'm going to celebrate class. So I'm celebrating Westbrook.
Good class with Luka and Damian Lillard, because Damian Lillard won't be a starter. Luka was like, he should absolutely be a starter. And Dame was a bit upset about it, man. So I do like the class. They're classing it up. Good for them. Good for them on that case. But I don't know, man. I kind of like the old school where everybody wasn't so nice. They were just mad at each other all the time.
We're going so petty now. We see so much pettiness. Let's take a year off. 2020 was a bad year. 2021, let's just clean it up a little bit, then we can go back. But come on, man.
Did you see Shaq? I think people, they might be too nice, because Shaq admitted that he let certain players score due to his appreciation of their style. Iverson, McGrady, White Chocolate, Vince Carter, those my guys. So yeah, I let them score sometimes.
Shaq just
I'm like, what in the? Come on, Shaq.
He's lying. Shaq's talking. Yeah, I could have blocked the shot. I just let it go because I really like to let him. Shut up. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't want to get dunked on by McGrady. You knew that was coming right there. White Chocolate. You didn't never cover him. Like, he was gonna break your ankles anyway. And Allen Iverson might have embarrassed you. Now you can say sometimes I can say you get caught looking, because I know sometimes you sit there we all like when you got to college and that dude was a senior when you were in high school, you looked and you like watching him because you remember watching him on TV. So now you're watching him on the field. You got to remember you're in the game too.
Right.
I would have gave him some of that, but he ain't let those.
Yeah, he's like, I just let him score.
He just
NBA All-Star game. They're going forward with it despite all of the reasons not to play it. And we've talked about it on this show. And, we tried to call the mayor, like, don't do it because they're going to be right up in a city that's magic and making it rain. Don't do it. But they're indeed going to do it in Atlanta. So we got to discuss it. Were there any snubs of the All-Star team that you thought stood out more than others? Anybody that you think should have been on there? Should we reevaluate? Because you talked about LeBron mentioning Devin Booker, the most disrespected. Like, what do you mean? Like, how it's evaluated a certain way. Coaches, players, and fans have a say so. And that's why Damian Lillard didn't make it in, because the fan vote is skewed differently than the other two. And Luka's got fans all over the place. So, internationally, if you will. So I don't know what we think, but LeBron making that statement about most disrespected ever. Is it time to reevaluate how the All-Star teams are chosen?
Again, it's a game. It's an honor, and it goes on. You got to get voted on by the fans. I think is good. I do like, like we talked about the Hall of Fame last week being all about the writers. I do like kind of taking them, minimizing them a little bit. But again, with fans, it's a popularity contest. You come from a big market, big city, big winning team. You get voted on. I don't know. It's a snub to some people. Booker didn't he get on because AD is he
got hurt. Right.
He got hurt, so he got on
he's
there.
A
replacement. It's still bad, that you have to be a replacement. But at the end of the day, they can't all be on there. There's always going to be snubs, just like the NCAA tournament, right? There's always going to be somebody who should have been there. But I guess what they say is play harder. Don't let them leave you off, right? You play harder, and eventually you'll be on there. But nobody really sticks out. I see people. Ja Morant was complaining about it, and he got clowned because they're like, "What? You thought you were gonna be on there? Are you?" Because he put "damn" on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're mad that Booker got left off too." Like, I thought that was hilarious. Right. So I don't know. It's just a game that shouldn't be played.
Let's ask the audience, like we ask you every week. We'll start because this is the Kill 'Em with Kindness. Please kill us with kindness. Please like. Please comment. Please share. Please tag a friend. Please tag a foe. Tag everybody that you know. If you're in our live audience, if you're someone listening to this in your podcast universe of choice, please subscribe and recommend us to other people. Having said that, we'll finish up now with just asking the fans, who is the biggest snub of this All-Star game? Who is a sub that should have been a starter? Who's a starter who should have been a sub? Weigh in on it, because it seems as though everybody else is, and the fans do get a vote. So I would love to see what the fans are thinking about this. Our audience members. Were the votes as they should be? While I called it a non-story to begin with, like, who cares, man? It's an ancillary game. Doesn't really matter. But when we think of legacy, that's one of the data points that we bring up. How many All-Star games did you make it in? CP3 made it in. Is it the State Farm commercials that got him in over Devin Booker initially? Zion versus Ingram, same team players. Like, how do you decide which one makes it in? Should we reconsider?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I want to see what the audience is saying. Let's see. My man Scott Bibb says Booker was the biggest snub. Booker's having a great season. What does it take to make it in? CP3 is a household name because of State Farm commercials, and every time you look up, he's around. But did he deserve to make it in over a teammate? So interesting times, very, very interesting times. Anthony Dimon says, well, Booker hands down. He dropped 70 on Boston. Even MJ didn't do that. It is what it is. We'll see. Continue to chime in. Big Flow from the Big Flow Show. This has been the Sports Freestyle. Bars. Appreciate you, my brother.
See y'all next week.
See you next week, man. Have a good one.
All right, thanks.
All right, y'all. That is the end of the third quarter. But as I requested, and I continue to request, please make sure that you chime in. Who do you think was the biggest snub? Who do you think, and from a sub perspective, should have been a starter? Are there any starters you think that should be subs? Should we reevaluate the entire all-star decision-making process? I'm going to be looking forward to reading these because I've heard what the ESPN pundits have said. I've heard what the Fox Sports pundits have said. I want to hear what the Ball Hog Sports Talk, our fan community, our listeners, our viewers, what do you think? Should we reevaluate the all-star selection process? Who was snubbed? Which starter should have been a sub? Which sub should have been a starter? Looking forward to reading some of those answers. All right, y'all. We're going to get into the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarter is today going to be strictly business. The fourth quarter today is also going to connect us to the center court. Strictly business, as you know, is a concept. This segment for me is personal because there's a lot of overlap between sports and business that we sometimes miss out on. Multi-billion-dollar industry when you think of sports. We sometimes miss out on the business lessons right there within our sports story. And this week we missed out on it completely because I talked about it in center court, that video that went viral. Cam Newton and let's call him snotty little nose boy up there talking all that trash. I shall never call you by name because that will encourage the next fool to be foolish. But that video that went viral had a component of it that I want to bring to strictly business because at some point in the exchange, Cam Newton looks at him and says, "I'm rich. I'm rich." And emphatically repeats, "But I'm rich." And I got to admit, it left me thinking, are we still missing the lesson in sports? A lot of my teammates, when I played in Green Bay and I played in Cleveland, they also professed, "I'm rich. I'm rich." Whether we were out at a restaurant, in a mall, wherever we might be, might have been at a particular place we shouldn't have been. They would always exclaim, "I'm rich." I've got now the benefit of hindsight. I've got the value of time. And I'm looking back and I think if they would have taken a different approach, maybe they would still be rich or still have money. A lot of those teammates don't have money anymore because all they could think about is, "I'm rich." I would have preferred Cam Newton. And maybe he takes this approach from a personal finance standpoint, but those weren't the words that he used. I would have preferred that he gave this young man a lesson on money and said, "I'm wealthy." Wealthy is a condition. Rich is a snapshot. I'm wealthy. Because at this point in his career, hopefully Cam Newton has indeed built wealth, built a plan for his personal finances, built a situation where he's well beyond just being rich. I imagine that when I look at the lifestyle of Money Mayweather is rich. When I look at the lifestyle of even the Migos showing up on a private jet to pick up Bobby Shmurda, they're rich. Adrian Broner, AB, is still in the ring begging Money Mayweather basically for money because at one point he was exclaiming, "I'm rich." He was living a lifestyle of being rich as opposed to generating wealth. There is a huge difference. And I think it's time that we start appreciating that difference. Being rich is something that you can quickly outgrow if you outspend the income that you are making. And by definition, at some point, as a professional athlete, some point in the near future, you're going to go from making a sizable amount of money on a weekly basis to more times than not making nothing. "I'm rich." I prefer that he exclaimed, "I'm wealthy." The teammates that told me in Cleveland, "I'm rich," they were mad when I pulled my 1996 Ford Explorer Sport. I put some rims on it just so everybody knew I'd arrived. But my Ford Explorer Sport, I pulled that up into the parking lot, and I remember one of my teammates, who shall remain nameless, but I see him now, follow him in certain circles, social media circles now. He would always try to clown me like, man, don't pull that up next to my Mercedes. He had the Mercedes with the coupe. You know what I mean? I think it looked like a spaceship. It was white. It had these nice rims on it. And here I come pulling up in my 1996 Ford Explorer Sport, which my boys used to clown me like, oh, you got the coupe. They used to clown me about it. But I was comfortable enough in my own skin to know that, man, I'm the 53rd and a half person on this team. At any point, somebody can take this opportunity away from me. At any point, I can go from making a healthy 6 figures to 0. And because I was able to do that, I'm still able to spend money that I can earmark to the NFL. It's one of those situations where I backed into the right decision, and I created an opportunity, a lane for wealth. I do see some transitions that make me happy, but I want to see more of them. Some of the transitions that I see that make me happy are, for example, DeMarcus Cousins. He just got $2.3 million, rocket contract guaranteed for the rest of the season. And he'll probably still play. I hope DeMarcus Cousins has more of, I'm going to build wealth. Takes that $2.3 million that is guaranteed to him and does something to build wealth. The story in that video that was missed, that I'm rich. No, you want to say I'm wealthy. You want to live today like you're poor, but you want to save and invest like you are a wealthy man. That's how you make sure that there's generational wealth. That's how you make sure that we are not at the mercy of somebody else's decision to whether or not they're going to make us a front office person, whether or not they are going to sign us as a spokesperson. We aren't dependent on the paychecks, because wealth is also independence. Wealth is also power. The Houston Rockets, that's one example of it with DeMarcus Cousins. But you got this Fernando Tatis Jr. He owes the investment fund estimated $2.7 million after the Padres contract because he bet on himself, and there was like some borrowing against his future earnings. There's this new shift in how players are looking at their earnings from a team and what they can do on it, how they can borrow against it, how they can capitalize off it. That's wealth. Stop being rich. Become wealthy. You had the offensive tackle, Russell Okung. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's considered the highest paid in the league because his decision to change some of his pay into Bitcoin. We've seen what's happening with Bitcoin. He's creating wealth. Chris Webber recently launched a $100 million cannabis private equity fund. Creating wealth. This whole concept of players being paid on a collegiate level, all right? This California bill focused on college athletes' right. It would radically impact Pac-12 and their schools. But I hope if they do get money, they don't take a page from at least that video, Cam Newton's book, and profess that they're rich. Figure out a way to create wealth. The NFL is reportedly seeking to double the broadcast right fees because the NFL, as a corporation, as an institution, is less concerned about being rich. It's a wealthy corporation. The story that I think was missed in that video, young people, professional athletes, please focus on becoming wealthy, because that's something that no one can take away from you. When you're rich and you're dependent on that contract and that income from that team, then you always give them the power. When you live poor now and invest and save and strategize like a wealthy man, you will create generational wealth. And maybe your son, maybe your daughter doesn't have to be a student athlete. Maybe they could choose to be something outside of sports. And I'll leave this fourth quarter on that note. Let's move away from being rich and let's create real wealth. That's how you change the power of our community without necessarily waiting on someone else to give you a helping hand. All right, y'all, that's the end of the fourth quarter. That's the Strictly Business section of the show. This is the Kill 'Em With Kindness episode. We ask you every week humbly. I'm asking you again as the overtime request. Please like, please comment, please share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody that you know. If you're listening to us in the podcast universe, please subscribe. We are doing this as a labor of love. We need your help. We ask your help. So please, kill them with kindness. It'll cost you 3 seconds. Go ahead and share the video. Kill them with kindness. It'll cost you maybe 1 second. Go ahead and tag a friend. Kill them with kindness. It'll cost you maybe, depends on how slow or quick you type, a few seconds. Type in a comment. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. I'm your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration. Join us next week. Myself and the crew will be bringing it back, rough, rugged, and raw. See you next week. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Y'all be safe. Wear your mask. Love life. Tomorrow ain't promised, y'all, so enjoy today. Peace.